Hey guys, I am here at my mom's house in Bayfield, Wisconsin, and yes, I am shamelessly set up outside in front of some pretty purple flowers. Didn't just happen to be sitting here. I spent all day yesterday inside, which made me really sad, so I decided to film this intro part out here. And this intro is to introduce you to this shirt that I made yesterday. If you follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is Hannah Lee Duggan. You've probably seen my post about this shirt telling you to come watch this video, and that's probably why you're here. So I actually get requested a lot to make video, like how-to videos on the things that I make. I don't think people realize that I'm really not following any sort of pattern at all. I'm kind of just making things up as I go along, so I apologize if this video is a little confusing. This was literally just me filming exactly my process for figuring out how to make this shirt yesterday. I highly recommend watching this video through, or at least scrubbing through once, just to kind of look at where I do things incorrectly and then fix them. So what I'm gonna do first is measure around my chest area right here. And I'm gonna measure how wide I want it to be. And then I'm gonna add about probably an inch to each of those measurements so that I have something to hem with. I'm going to round up, and I'm just gonna make the waist around 30 because it will give me leeway to mess with the band later on. I don't wanna make it exactly the same size as my waist. Okay, so now that you have your strip of fabric, this guy, don't do anything with it, don't sew it, don't anything. Just put it aside. And now we're gonna cut out the triangle things. This fabric is a little sheer, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna double up all of these things that I'm making so that they're not sheer. I'm going to put the bra on and then measure the length of everything while it's on me, because my only issue with this bra is that it's elastic. So the easiest way to cut this out is going to be this. You're gonna take the measurement from the top of your shoulder to the bottom, like straight down to the bottom of the length of it. This measurement straight down is 12 inches. So I'm gonna take the bottom measurement right here, which is 8.5, and then 12 inches, and I'm gonna cut out a rectangle. So it's gonna be 8.5 inches, which I measured right here. And then it's gonna be 12.5, because I'm gonna add a 1/2 inch for the seam. This is my little rectangle that is eventually gonna turn into this section. So I'm gonna cut out 4 more of these, and I'll just cut them out without measuring them. I'll just cut around this one. Alrighty, so now that you have your 4 pieces of 4 fabric things, what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna take my side measurement and I'm gonna pull it over to about 3 inches. I'm gonna go from the top the same place, and it's about 7.5 inches over, 7.5 inches down. I'll mark that little spot right there, and that's about where your curve is gonna go. So this is gonna just go kind of up. This part, this 2-inch part right here, measure that out, give it a little bit of leeway for seams, and mark there for the bottom. And then where you put your little marker there, you're going to kind of roughly sketch, at least for me, I just kind of do a little bit of guesswork when I do this, but I just kind of roughly sketch a little curve there and then up. Okay, and I said this measurement was about 1 inch, so give it a little leeway. And it's gonna go. Okay. I don't know if you can see this little sketch, but here's the curvy part and here's the straight part. And hopefully it works out. I don't know, because it's all kind of just guesswork for me. I'm gonna cut it slightly bigger than my sketches, just so that if I did screw up anything, I can fix it. So I'll give it another like 1/2 inch to 1 inch of space there. And then I'm gonna just hold it up here. It's just slightly big. Like this little arm area is a little big, so that's perfect because it'll give me room to hem it. I'm going to just cut this same exact pattern out on this side. And I'm gonna leave the extra room so that I can play with it. It's already starting to look a little bit like a top, like this. The top is essentially going to start looking like this, which is great. I'm excited. I think this is going to be really cute. The good thing about this is I'm going to just be flipping them inside out, and I'm literally just going to sew this line. So instead of having to hem it by folding it over, that line is just going to be followed by the sewing machine, and it's not as complicated. I'm just going to sew along this little drawn-on line that I've made. Before I go too far ahead of myself, I'm going to copy that line onto these ones. And I'm literally the worst. This is why I think it's funny that anyone wants me to make these tutorials, because like I'm not a professional. I'm not barely measuring things correctly. I don't know. It's always just kind of a rough guess for me, and I'm kind of making it up as I go along and hoping that it works out and troubleshooting it if it doesn't. So like I just did there, that was completely just, who knows, maybe that'll work. I don't know. So I've got everything drawn on. I'm going to grab pins. So now that I have those put together, I'm going to sew along all of those lines. You're gonna notice that it's just along here, the top, and then straight down. I'm gonna flip it inside out and do the seams along the bottom edge later on. So it's all done. I cut off the little excess fabric, and then I'm gonna turn the side out, or right side out, right side out. What you can do later is iron these out so that they're not so rounded edged like this, so that they're more crisp and flat. This is gonna be the underarm. So it'll go like that. There you go. And that's gonna be the front. Okay, so here's where my creative license comes in. It looks like this right now. And I'm thinking how much I really don't want to deal with making the back look like that. What I'm thinking could be cute is just making straight back pieces that just go straight down the back of this instead of making them triangular. So I've ironed everything. Here's all the pieces. These are the front pieces. This is the bottom piece, and then these are the two back straps. What I'm going to do so that this frayed edge is hemmed is I want this whole piece to be 4 inches. So I'm going to tuck in these parts at 4 inches all the way through, and I'm gonna iron them down like that. And I'm gonna do that on the other side as well. Now that you have that ironed down, I'm going to find the middle. The middle is going to be right there. I'm going to put these inside of here so that there's kind of an invisible hem. This one as well. Now that I have it pinned together, it's starting to look like a shirt, isn't it? I pinned it together just so that I can see how it's going and what it looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin it. If you're wearing like a bra or like a tank top or something, just pin it to whatever you're wearing. What I'm realizing as I pin it up is that I haven't put in the boob slit thing yet, so I need to take it apart and do that. And then also, since I'm not making it a piece that goes all the way around with the other triangles in the back, what I'm gonna need to do is sew those down. So I'll turn these back inside out, and I'm gonna just sew from where it is right now and just a straight diagonal. So those are the things I have noticed that I need to work on before I get it all sewed together. And I'm gonna pin it where I think the top is gonna be, right? So it fits right about there. I'm pinning, and I'm not poking myself. Okay, I'm gonna hold it right here. I'm gonna pin down here as well. I'm also gonna pin over here along the side, nice and taut. This is where I want it to be. It's laying how I want it to lay. It's not really going anywhere. I think I can take this and I can grab the excess fabric, the fabric that seems to be left behind here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab it and I'm just gonna pull it over and push the extra fabric inside. So make sure you're holding this exactly where you want it. Grab that. I'm gonna pin it in place right there. And that's gonna be where the gather is. And I'm gonna do that on the other side as well, because most girls have uneven boobs. And this side is smaller, for sure. So I want this shirt to fit me just the way I want it to fit me. So I'm gonna do the other side on its own instead of just copying this side, so that it gets fit exactly right. Now that I have both of my little pleats in, I'm just going to take this off. So the pleat is just sitting in there like that right now. So it's got the fabric folded over. I'm going to take this bunch of fabric. This is hard to explain. You're going to have to just fool around with it because everybody's boobs are different and I'm not exactly sure how to do these. But so basically the pleat is going to go up to about here. If you look at it from this angle, I'm going to grab it here. And I'm going to hold this together, and this is where I'm going to sew. And I'm going to just sew that right up to here. So you'll see that I sewed it right here on the inside. So when I pull it out like this, it's got a nice pleat. That'll fit right where it was. And then I'll do that on the other one. Do the same exact thing. I realized I should have done this before the pleat because I have to turn it inside out, but it should be fine. So here's the thing, right? And I wanted to make this go like this. I'm going to flip this inside out and just sew a straight line from here, like diagonal straight to the bottom. I flipped this one out inside out and it looks like this because of the pleat I sewed here, but I'm just going to draw a line straight diagonal and sew that together. So I fixed it. It is now more of a straight line as opposed to that curve that had the straight edge. So a lot of me sewing is just me troubleshooting as I go. I'm sorry if you're trying to follow along and I keep changing things. I definitely recommend watching these videos first, seeing what I do wrong, and then figuring it out. Now that this part's done, and I'm pretty close to done with all of that, I'm going to attach the straps like that. so that I can gauge where they're going to get sewed into the back of the top. Here's how I'm going to do this, and I could have done this a little better if I had made this slightly bigger. I have just an open raw edge here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck it in like this, and then I'm going to tuck this inside of it. And the reason I wish this was a little bigger was because this is not entirely fitted right, so it's going to be a little bunched for me, but hopefully if you make this shirt, it won't be as bunched. So once I have it tucked satisfactorily, I'm just going to sew a straight stitch across and hold it all together. Alright, so I've got straps on both ends of this, so I'm going to now start pinning it into the bottom piece, and then I'll show you what I do. I have it all pinned in. Because I don't know the length of the straps yet, I'm just going to sew right here to make sure that these top pieces get nice and secured in, and then I'm going to figure out the straps. Now I'm nearly done. I just have to get these back straps connected and then some sort of button or something in the back. What I'm going to do is sew this whole band together, hem these edges, and then I'm going to sew on buttons and get it to close. The very last thing I'm going to do is secure the straps so that they're exactly the length that I want them. I have all the sides closed. I have the front, the side, the back, the bottom, the top, the everything. So all of that is closed off and done. Now that that's done, I have to figure out if I left enough fabric to put in buttons, which is very questionable at the moment. Just do that. Okay, so I'm gonna put buttons in right now. First I gotta find some buttons. This is what the top is looking like. I'm gonna have to do some cross back, I think, and it's just gonna fit like that. Cute, I love this. A lot of this sewing stuff is me taking video of myself holding straps in the back like this to see like what looks best. There you go, all done. That's weird looking. I put the last straps on. They're tucked in. They're not tucked in, they're sewed in. The reason there's a little bit more of a gap here is just because this part was a little loose, so I tucked it down under and sewed it. So there's just like a little bit of a space here, which I actually kind of like more. I like that it's like a V with a square bottom. I mean, I think it's really cute. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you could comment in the comment section below and tell me if you liked it or what I should improve on for next time, or if you're gonna make the shirt, let me know. If you want to, sorry, I have a dog hair up my nose. If you'd like to send me a message on Instagram DMs, oh my god, Finnegan, come back. If anyone makes this shirt, maybe post it in like an Instagram story and tag me, or send me a DM or something, because I would love to see what people come up with, different ways it turns out. So maybe I'll repost it to my story or something. I don't know. But yeah, so hopefully you guys liked this, and I'm gonna go edit it now. Bye guys. I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spent my coin for sure. Oh.